Any of you who would have worked with this man over the past 20 years in cooperative education would know there's one place he is most uncomfortable, and that's under the spotlight. 20 years ago this year, in fact, Shakeel gave up a lab coat and his laboratory to get actively involved in work integrated learning and cooperative education. Before that, he was already involved in building people capacity in terms of establishing the first staff federation that eventually resulted into a union institutionally that grew into one of the academic unions that some of the members in this esteemed audience today may even belong to. He has lived a life dedicated to the upliftment of others. I am prepared to say that thousands of academics has passed through his hands in terms of thinking, philosophy, even the psychology attached to work integrated learning. And our country is the better for it. It was 6 years ago that he took on the responsibility as president of the Southern African Society for Cooperative Education. And he has led it, I would like to say, with distinction. I've listened to his staff at his center speak. I've listened to his colleagues at Durban University of Technology, his colleagues from various universities of technology, industry partners like Danny will attest to the fact that he is a leader who leads from behind. He would ensure that his team gets work done. And he would never take the credit for it. Our EXCO team would often feel frustrated at times because we would wait for something to be told and directed. And Shakeel's leadership style would allow him to bring out the best in his team. Thank you, sir, for the legacy that you have left, not only for Saski, but for this country. He wants to know, can he go now? No, not quite yet. I would also like to say that his commitment to cooperative education over the last 20 years was so deep that he was married to cooperative education. So there's an announcement tonight that he's newly single. So please spread the word that he'll have more time on his hands. And hopefully it wouldn't only be for countries like the Philippines and Thailand and Canada recently, but that the beautiful ladies of our multicultural environment in our country would be blessed with the honor of your company. On a very last point, Shakeel took over the leadership of SASCI at a tumultuous point in its history. He introduced a new trajectory for SASCI. And in his first speech after accepting the presidency, spoke and re-emphasized over the past 6 years the fact that we need a new SASCI. One that does not incorporate mere talking shop or patting each other on the back for a job well done. One that looks at our principles, our practices and our policies critically. And once we look at it critically, we are able to establish opportunities to improve those principles, practices, and policies. One of the undertakings that he had made as president of SASCI was that SASCI and the broader community would lead the debate, the discussion, and lobby government for a working national framework. We wish to pledge to you tonight, sir, that your vision for a work integrated learning policy and framework that truly meets social transformation objectives will be continued. Finally, colleagues, as I present this Lifelong Achievement Award to Shakeel Ori, not Shakeel O'Neal as he is known as overseas, in recognition of dedication and commitment in leading the development of cooperative education and work integrated learning within Southern Africa and growing partnerships globally, I would ask you to rise and salute with me a great man. Shakeel is asking the ladies please not to rush, one at a time. Ladies and gentlemen, while I'm going to have the podium, I'm going to hijack it for 1 more minute. And I want to continue speaking about this man. In terms of my own journey, I was the group manager for human resources at the then largest IT company in South Africa. Business Connection in terms of headcount at that point was bigger than Data and Jijima. We had operations in 8 different countries. One of the big issues for any HR director at the time was the scorecards that we introduced. And so we turned to universities of technologies and colleges to look for pipeline talent. As such, our regional managers reached out to UOTs and colleges all over this country. And after a 3-month extensive period of sending all of the HR managers into the field, they reported back that there were a few establishments that were very progressive. The first thing that they did is they bothered to return the calls. The second thing they did is they actually followed up the call with an appointment. In those regions, one individual and one institution stood out. I made it my business to go down to Durban to go meet this individual. And thanks to him, I still drive the car I drove 10 years ago. Because after meeting him, I identified in myself a need to do more than just make profit. We embarked on a national internship program where we recruited 595 learners from 9 different institutions in the country. Of those, 80% of them were permanently employed. This individual bothered to follow up in terms of saying, what didn't our students have? What do you wish could have been done differently? How could we have sped up the process? That kind of forward thinking and customer orientation in cooperative education resulted in a sustained work integrated learning, internship, graduate placement program at a large corporate because of the practitioner's approach to professionalism and understanding the impact it has for social transformation in this country. I was invited with him to Namibia to go and address a university and a chamber of commerce and industry as a business partner, because that's what I was at the time. It was about 1.5 years later that they invited me back to start a center for cooperative education in Namibia the first ever. I modeled much of what I did in terms of our customer orientation, our industry focus, on best practice at several institutions in the country. But I tried to model my own leadership style along Shakeel's. I am not Shakeel. I am not a clone by any way, shape or form. I speak a lot more than he does. But what I do know is that the passion that he instilled through his behavior, through the example that he set, is one that has affected not only myself, but many others who are not even here today. In terms of my accepting your trust placed in me in terms of the voting process today, I would like to commit myself as President of SASCI to listen to our stakeholders first of all, and then to continue to build on what we are doing well. I furthermore commit myself to addressing the areas that we need to improve on, and we know that they exist. As an EXCO, as a board, we can only do this when we have a united front. It is not up to an individual. A collective voice is what's needed. We see the power of a collective voice right now in our country with regards to our Fees Must Fall campaign. If we would synergize our thinking and support each other, the power of will can truly be unleashed. Shakeel, thank you for having started this revolution. Watch us continue it.
The University of Johannesburg. Rethink, reinvent.